Hey guys, what's up? It's BigJackFilms here, and welcome to another commentary. I'm joined by my buddy Bradley Dunn, who helped with this episode.
What's up?
Yeah, so, we're here to discuss the Season 3 finale, which was an interesting one, because it not only ends with, probably one of the worst things I've had to review Kong-wise, but also just to build up the entire storyline of the show as of now. So we're just going to talk about what went on behind the scenes in this episode and just give you kind of a little insight of the storyline and everything. So
should be fun.
It should be fun. So I think we should obviously start with when we I remember when it was announced there was going to be a Netflix show. And I was kind of like, okay, it looked interesting. And then I saw the artwork and I'm like, oh god, it's one of these shows. And it actually looked like a mix between the 60s cartoon and the 2000s cartoon. And I was like, oh god, this is going to be a disaster. And so, when it finally aired, I knew I was going to get to this. So right after we finished the video game episode with James Rolfe, which was fantastic, I had to go immediately into the Netflix show, so I figured I'd start with a few episodes. But I knew watching it, I was like, I cannot sit through this alone, so I brought Brad along.
I basically dragged my ass into this shit fast, fuck.
And, we ended up, we were up till, maybe midnight, because we watched it late at night. We were watching it on Netflix, and yeah, it was just we watched the first episode, which halfway through, I remember this, because when this actually made it into the review, we were halfway through the episode, I'm like, why is this episode so long?
And it turned out to be an hour and a half.
Yeah, it turned out to be a feature-length movie, and already halfway through, I was like, okay, I've already seen enough of this bullshit. Yeah. So at least watching the first episode, which is an hour and a half movie, perfect. I don't need to watch the rest of that crap. And for anybody who's asking me to watch the second season, the answer is no.
The answer is lick my nuts, fuckers.
Exactly, because this show sucked.
It's fucking garbage.
What did you think about watching it?
I thought it was boring, I thought it was stupid, and, all the characters fucking sucked.
Yeah, it was
just stupid.
It was so dumb. And it was literally and that's the thing, this is one of the first I'm now enjoying these with these reviews, is using clip jokes from previous films. And obviously when you do a not too distant future joke, you have to put in a fucking Mystery Science Theater 3000. So when we were watching this, we were pretty much riffing the damn thing, and I took notes on my phone just to know what to make jokes on. But yeah, this is one of the worst Kong things I've ever had the pleasure of reviewing on the show. Technically, there are stuff that is way worse that I've sat through in my years of reviewing movies and watching films, but this is hands down, one of the worst Kong things I've had to review. I'd say this is probably, probably in the top 5.
Yeah.
I would even say it's probably, it's number 3, because the other two that I've seen that were far worse were Bangalore King Kong and King of the Lost World. This is number 3.
Fucking Christ.
Yeah, it's shit. So yeah, we took notes, and then I wrote the script for this episode, and I knew the thing is, I love that joke. Mighty Joe Young 2020, 2200 or something. That's gonna happen at some point.
Probably fucking
Yeah. I knew that was a joke I immediately came up with. It was they're in a tree, insert Jurassic Park 3 thing here. And yeah, that movie's way better. Okay, so this bit with the poop joke, I knew, that's a common thing in kids' films now. So I just figured I'd have the generic kids' film list. So I wrote this down, which was hysterical.
Poop jokes, fart
jokes. Fart jokes, annoying comic release by popular comedian, love song. So I just went down the list of the most cliche animated kids stuff you see in a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's also weird, because this show, too, was also a Canadian production.
Oh, fuck, really?
Because a lot of the voice actors were based in BC.
Oh, great.
So, it's pure Canadian bullshit. That sounds like a restaurant. An amazing, pure Canadian bullshit pancakes.
Oh, God.
That should be a thing.
Should be. Also, fuck that kid that's talking right now. The guy with the blue. I hate everything about him.
He's Draco Malfoy, who's voiced by the guy who does Double D in Ed, Edd n Eddy.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Sam Vincent. What the fuck were you thinking, man?
Someone needed a fucking paycheck. Fuck
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, that's the weird part, because, like, in some instances, this is also the first episode that I had to actually kind of really trim down the footage, because I didn't want to get because this was at the time the copyright was really bad on YouTube, and this was last year. It was a little sketchy, so I had to kind of abridge a lot of the scenes. Oh, then you have this fucking Consuela bitch with a parrot for no reason.
Is this
I love it. Okay, I found that clip on YouTube.
Oh, yeah?
And I just figured I have to use that somehow in this.
I've used it before.
Yeah, that's a great clip. I love Gilbert Godfrey. If he was in this show, I'd probably be like, okay, it's worth watching.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like, I don't know what even to make of this show. It's like, Kong looks like something out of Aardman Animation.
I don't even know what that is.
That's the guys who do Wallace and Gromit. And that's what I first saw. I was like, is this an Aardman production? At first, but no, it's just some cheesy Canadian. Okay, yeah, like seriously, this kid's insane.
He has severe mental issues. He should be locked away.
Well, I think they do explain in the episode that apparently like the mom died or something. So I can see how in that sense it can make them a little bitter, but it's not fully developed. It's just like,
Definitely not.
we need that Malfoy kid and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love that. It's funny because I showed that to a few people, and their first reaction was just like, because I had like this empty thing of bleach. I actually know what I did was I had the bleach. There was actual bleach in there, but I didn't drink it. I had the lid on. But I remember the first time I showed it to some of my friends, and they're just like, "Oh," which is great. Yeah, this looks like something that Teletoon would put out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's like tune in to Kong King of the Apes following Gumby tonight at 4 only on Teletoon. You know, like, oh, it's fucking terrible. And that's the thing, when I was looking up, I actually realized Netflix didn't have any of the other Kong movies. This was the only thing they had.
Oh, God.
Which is...
I guess I don't like Kong.
They don't, like, and yeah, the puns in this show.
Oh, yeah, they did have a lot of nasty puns.
Yeah, so, just, even watching it, I'm just like, ugh! I don't know what to say!
It's just bad.
Yeah, like this Dr. Emmett Brown stupid shit. Okay, I'll admit that joke was taken right off Nostalgia Critic, the I'm acting joke, because he doesn't use that anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you ripped off Nostalgia Critic.
Yeah.
Millions of times at this point.
Yeah, well, he's I still think he's funny.
Yeah, I don't mind his stuff.
Oh, and that's the thing. So yeah, getting to the point is that the reason people want, like, I try to now in my show, this is something you started to notice, is that I do try to tell stories with my established characters in the show, maybe trying to explain where they come from, and so on. So, the whole idea was, like, basically, in this backstory is, like, the storylines didn't really start happening until the Earthquake review, when I started to put in the plots for everything. Right. Oh, excuse me. And, I ended up just basically, just saying, hey, I want to start telling stories, so I wrote as I went along, but now it's starting to get to the point where I kind of know what I want to do with the show, so this is kind of just the beginning of it. So, the established thing of me becoming what I call a were-Kong, right, which is like a werewolf with the King Kong species, is basically because I ate a Nintendo DS cartridge. Okay, I love that joke. Said you killed the son of a bitch. Oh, I love this. Just celebrating with the show so bad you wish for child murder.
Oh, God.
I love this, just using the clips from 76 The Party.
Yes.
That's so good.
That's awesome.
It's just marching.
Ding dong, the kid is dead. Oh, fuck.
I know. That was us. We were like, oh my God, is he dead? And it was like, oh, fuck. I love this though. Yeah, so, Anyway, yeah, so I'm writing stories with this. So yeah, the whole thing is that I ate the Nintendo cutting to Night of the Demon. Thank you,
no.
James Rolfe, for introducing me to such a fucked up film.
Yeah, thanks, James.
I love this joke. Like, I think this is one of my favorite jokes I did, was just the Terminator dumb theme.
Oh, I remember
Yeah, I
that,
love this. I love it. Dum. So yeah, I basically ate the Nintendo chip.
Yeah.
You ever notice in Mighty Joe Young that they showed that he flips the bird on them?
Oh,
Did
really?
you ever notice the hunter did that? He's like, you stupid fool, he
No,
flips
I
the
didn't
bird.
notice that.
Yeah, go back and watch the film again. He actually flips the bird.
Wow.
In a Disney film.
Wow.
Anyway, so, to the point, I ate the chip, and then what happened was the chip was actually possessed by an entity of evil that the Dark Lord had that I established later on in the show. So that's just kind of just to bring up the whole, everything up to speed. And...
Jesus.
I know, like, I lost it there. I also love the use of the Game Over Donkey Kong music in this. You could, like, hear it in the background. Yeah, so any chance, ever since I did the video game episode, I do try to incorporate more Donkey Kong jokes in there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I also I want to go back to this where I do commercial breaks in between so I can put the ads in.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, just little commercial breaks. So a lot of this because this episode's pretty much a nostalgia critic review.
Yeah.
Like an esque. Yeah.
It has a very nostalgia critic-esque feel to it.
Yeah. So we'll be right back after these messages.
Yeah, these messages.
And we're back. So, and now back to more bullshit.
And now back to more shitty Kong Joe.
Yeah,
And Owen Wilson for some reason.
Oh, because he looks like Owen Wilson.
Oh.
Yeah. Owen Wilson sucks.
He fucking sucks.
Yeah, so, yeah, when I knew I wanted to do something special for this episode because I just knew how bad it was, so I had to end it the right way, so I figured, what better way to end it than to me having go on a Kong-esque rampage through Toronto, so that was pretty much, like, what it was all about. I just wanted to get to that point, and so... this episode was actually filmed right after the video game. I might review that someday.
What, the Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot movie. It is an asylum film, but for some reason they got fucking Alice Cooper in it.
Why does that sound familiar?
He's like a rock star.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they got him in the movie, and on top of that, in some countries, Bigfoot is called King Kong 3.
What the fuck? Okay, then.
I know, I should just make that the title of the review, King Kong 3, just to confuse people. Oh yeah, I can't. You can never resist a Star Wars joke.
Yeah.
Like he's on the shade now, the man, twisted and evil. So.
And it's still an annoying piece of shit.
Yeah. So basically, I had to establish a bunch of stuff in this episode. So we had this whole thing where I would have the destruction of Toronto, and I kind of knew how to do it after my experiences working on Kong. So I knew I needed to I needed the ape suit and everything. And one of the things I did improve on was actually I made a new mask, and the way that came up was that I was
making a mask.
Yeah, because I remember I went to a local thrift shop, and I found this glow-in-the-dark gorilla mask. It was sheer hard plastic, but it had a perfect kind of structure for almost like that Planet of the Apes feel look, right? So I basically just cut the jaw off and essentially just like painted it black and everything, and it actually looked great. So I wanted to improve that in the mask. So we used that for this episode. It just kind of came out of nowhere. We were originally going to use one of the original Kong masks, but yeah, we shot this right after the video games episode, so right at the end of August while we still had nice weather because we had to do green screen work.
Yeah.
And eventually what happened is that, okay, I love this joke very quickly.
He died? This is supposed to be a kid's movie.
Muppet Treasure Island is like my favorite.
I really need to watch that.
It's one of the better Muppet movies. It's fucking Tim Curry as Long John Silver.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, he's great. He's fucking great. But yeah, to the point. I have to. Okay, I knew when I found out Sammons, I had to make an Ed, Edd n Eddy joke because Ed, Edd n Eddy's one of my favorite cartoons, and I actually love how that came out.
Yeah, that came out really nice.
Because the trick is all I do is take characters, and if they're on a green or blue backing, I'll just mat it out.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of these shots are done. If you find like a character on a blue or green backing, just crop them out. Yeah, that was a little more difficult because there were some lines.
Right.
And yeah, because I knew about this episode where they have, like, there's an episode where they create a cardboard city and Johnny climbs up and does a King Kong moment. So instead of going ahead and reviewing that whole episode, I just figured I'd just put that in a joke, say, there, it's covered. I don't have to talk about it.
You know, shut up now.
So, yeah, we had it where we had to film this stuff of the Rampage, so it was shot in a few ways, one of which was using green screen with Kong in a suit. So I had to contact my old buddy Bradley. I called him up and said, boy, we're having a reunion. Get your ass up here. We're filming in the suit.
Fuck.
And, yeah, like, do you remember, like, oh, okay, I have to point this out very quickly about that Transformers joke. So I made that joke, obviously, because it looked like Transformers, but then I got a comment or an email from a guy who actually works on the show. He was an animator, and he actually said, if you thought watching the first episode was bad, try working on it for a year. And he actually told me he was the director of that shot, and he just literally admitted, yeah, we just ripped off Transformers.
Oh my god.
So but he said the thing was they were getting paid well.
Oh,
so I'm not gonna, I won't hold that against the animators or anything. You know, they're paid well.
Yeah.
You know, for all this shit. But yeah, it's mostly just the producers and shit that I blame and stuff for this shit. But yeah, I will admit the animators, like, it's like 2000 CGI, but it still looks good. Like, it's
not a terrible looking show. It's just not a good show. It's
just not a good show. So yeah, I had to really. I was actually surprised. I got a comment from, like, one of the animators of the show saying, like, yeah, we know it's bad, and this was an excellent review. But yeah, we got paid. Yeah, we've seen this enough with the fucking Golden Gate Bridge as a place for creatures and stuff to attack.
Yeah, it's overdone.
I am so sick. It's as bad as the Sky Portal.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of that. Like, yeah, it's fucking terrible. So, yeah, we had it where, we had Bradley, if you want to discuss maybe, like, going through, like, shooting the green screen stuff that day, because we shot that all in a day.
Yeah, we shot that all in a day. It was a pretty simple shoot from what I remember.
Like, I mean, the suit, did you feel like I improved on the suit where it's more comfortable?
Yeah, I think there was some definite improvements. I thought the mask was more comfortable. I think it worked a little better. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I had to make a Star Wars joke here. You know, I have the high ground because that was such a long-running meme forever. It's like, it's over! I have the high ground. Right? Mm-hmm. And then you got this. Okay, this guy seriously reminds me of Chief Quimby from Inspector Gadget.
Oh, yeah, he does look like this.
So I obviously had to make this joke.
While you're at it, this message here you sent me will self-destruct in 1 second.
Yes.
If you're wondering what that sound effect of the "ooh" is, it's from a Yosemite Sam cartoon where he, like, falls down the stairs. Yeah. This was also one of the episodes where I really wanted to get into kind of JonTron cuckoo crazy editing where everything shakes and shit, which I've started to love with reviews. Yeah. Because that shit's super hilarious. People like Kid Icarus and...
yeah, Kid Icarus does
that. I want to get more into that kind of stuff.
Do it. I'd love to see more of that.
So yeah, we just filmed that on a day, and then the main course of wanting to get to the city, because I had to find a way to go to the city for that day. So thankfully enough, DTAC was happening, which is the Fan Expo holiday show at the convention center, and Fan Expo is one of the big cons I go to.
Yeah.
And I usually go to the holiday show. I've been going for the last few years, and so I figured, hey, let's just film the stuff there. So I had some help from Eric Reistook, who actually helped me film some of that stuff.
Right.
And we just had it where it was just shooting in the convention center, and then shooting all the exterior stuff, all the outside stuff, which was good. Thankfully, I don't think it was snowing that day, which was fantastic, that day of DTAC.
I wasn't there, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, it was an okay con. You should come with us this year.
If by the time my work schedule, I wouldn't mind going.
Yeah, it's December 8th.
Yeah, I know when it is.
Yeah, actually, put in the plug. We're going to DTAC. We'll see you there. I'll probably just do an ad for it later, but yeah. We're coming to the con this year. So yeah, basically, okay, I love this. Just because any chance I could talk about a reference from another thing without having to review the whole damn thing is a plus. Mm-hmm. Like, there might be a day I would review Curse of the Were-Rabbit, but I'm not too sure.
You should.
Well, there's a good reason.
Although, like, whenever something bad's going on, you ask the question, like, well, there's a good reason. So yeah, so a lot of, we filmed, the DTAC stuff, I got the backgrounds, and just a lot of compositing happening with this, episode, especially for the finale, and yeah, I know a lot of people might be wondering why the finales are becoming longer than the review, but that's because I just got so much story to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love this. Just like I just shot this very quickly. Now that's the thing. It's never been released on DVD, so I had to get a fake DVD.
Yeah, you can tell you can.
And just like print it off, and there was like a cheap DVD with like Disney crap in the background, which was hysterical. So, luckily when we shot this, we didn't get that many stares from people. But a lot of this was I actually based a lot of this on Spazmaster when he got to reviewing the Creature from the Black Lagoon musical, when he just loses his shit. It was mostly influenced from that.
I have yet to watch that.
That's the Universal stuff's great. His Universal retrospectives on Hollywood's fantastic.
Awesome.
Fine, plug in for Spazmaster, go. I'll put a link to his channel below.
Go check him out.
I love that shot. Like, I just like how it almost becomes like black fur. So, yeah, a lot of this was just green screen with the backgrounds there, which looked great. Now, a lot of the music and kind of editing style was based on King Kong Lives, the sequel, because I figured, hey, I'm not going to get much copyright flag for that.
Yeah.
Also, heads up, if you ever need people running in the streets for your monster movie, there's a ton of footage on YouTube of just people running and stuff.
That seems to be what you see a lot. Yeah.
But I love how this all came out. Like, these shots are
pretty damn
fantastic.
solid.
Yeah, because I think I improved on my green screen since Kong, because Kong was very much a learning experience.
Yeah, it is
I love this joke!
Little political humor.
Little political humor, I love that. But it's funny, because at the time I wrote this, the Trump Tower actually went away.
Yep.
Yeah, which I thought was hysterical. And of course we have our cameo from Dr. Tarawad, a guy we've known for a couple of years now. He's based in the city.
Yeah, I've known for quite a while.
Oh, he's a great guy.
Real
And
nice dude, yeah.
I know he's one of those guys. He's almost like a Canadian Dr. Insano.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to work with him on something. He's actually done collabs with people from Channel Awesome before, so I always wanted to work with him on stuff. So now I pretty much have him as an established character. He's pretty much my Dr. Emmett Brown, who basically comes up with all my tech. So, like, the FDT, the Fictional Dimensional Transporter, and all this stuff, he is the guy who invents all that for me.
Basically any of the sciencey stuff.
Yeah, the professor stuff. So, I actually asked him to do this cameo, and then I said, hey, I need some shots of you working on some stuff in your lab. So, he went ahead and did that and got that all for me, which is great. I'm hoping to work with him on some more stuff. He was supposed to appear in the Back to the Future episode as Doc Brown, coming out of the DeLorean, but unfortunately he couldn't make it for that.
Well, I went and did it.
So you went and did it, and we'll probably we'd love to do a commentary on that.
Definitely gotta do a commentary on that. That was a great review.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite episodes.
Probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite production that I've worked on to this day.
Yeah, we'll go to that. Okay, some shots I'll admit were Google images or Google Maps. You can tell.
Obvious.
But yeah, a lot of this was just based on King Kong Lives, just like matching shots and just making a quick, pretty much abridged version of the classic Kong stuff.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great. But yeah, and it's weird because like I think I was also in the suit in a couple of shots.
I think you were, yeah.
Yeah, because like if there was an extra, most of the emotional stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's you, I can tell.
Yeah.
But then there's like, but I do love how all this matting actually came out.
Yeah, it came out pretty decent.
It came out really well. Green screen is I'm starting to become a bit more of a pro at it. There are some shots like this one, I'll admit, don't look that good, but that's because I didn't know how to do animation on that stuff. And thankfully I have an Android 18 action figure that I can use in that, which matched perfectly.
It worked, yeah.
Yeah, I love this. So this is pretty much mirroring Kong 76.
Yeah.
When he's about to go on the World Trade Center, and this one's the CN Tower. And then that's just some footage from people shooting out their windows when they were filming the Avengers in New York.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there's tons of shit like that you can find on YouTube if you ever need, like,
Perfect.
people running in the streets.
Good to know.
Yeah, there's a lot of... I know a lot of people who've done that. There's a couple Godzilla fan films and Kong films that've done that, yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, this is completely King Kong Lives. Instead of just doing 76 as a whole, I wanted to just... do it where, you know, he just climbs up. Now, a lot of this stuff with the climb was actually leftover footage from Kong.
Really?
That I had some leftover green screen footage that I was able to use.
Nice.
And yeah, that was, it's funny, I shot that on a day, the CN Tower had some, like, smoke or fog coming out of it, which I thought looked really good. But yeah, this came out really well. Now... all these jet fighter footage is actually from an event called the X, which happens in Toronto. where they have like an air show with a lot of like military jets flying by and everything. So I figured, hey, I'd incorporate a lot of that footage. And I was at Fan Expo and they were having it the same day. So I figured I would just like get as much B-roll as I could to film of the jet fighters, and it came out really well.
Yeah, it came out pretty cool looking.
Yeah. So again, a lot of this is just pretty much doing a mirror of the 76 ending.
Yeah.
And it's funny to think that Dino De Laurentiis, the original poster for Kong 76, was gonna have jet fighters instead of helicopters.
Oh, really?
That was the original idea.
That would've been neat.
And what happened was apparently the original concept was they were going to get the Canadian military to get shots of the jet fighters. So it was going to be the Canadian military to take it down. And unfortunately that never happened because of money constraints, so they went to Huey choppers. But then it's funny, then you have things like Yeti Giant of the 20th Century, that actually have it where there's a giant ape in Toronto.
Yeah.
So I figured I'd do that kind of stuff, which is great. So there's kind of a mix of the two original concepts. Now, the background footage was actually shot at the Toronto Santa Claus Parade, because I figured, hey, there's some crowds here, I might as well get some shots.
Oh, yeah. I think I was with you at the
Yeah.
parade when you got
Unfortunately, I didn't have a tripod, so you can see a little bit of shaky in it. And actually, this cop here is a nod to my Confrontation review, where I had myself play a cop. So I like that character, just a nod to that. And then Dr. Tobot making that in. But even with the shaky cam, that actually came out really well.
Yeah, that came out pretty solid.
Yeah, that actually was a pretty solid shot.
Yeah.
And then we have us pretty much spoofing the Confrontation pre-show with our old buddy Carl Cooper.
Indeed.
I just figured combine the two, Bradley can play the part.
Yeah.
And
Toronto.
he's literally wearing Denim's old shirt and tie.
Yeah.
It's like if Herb got a job after Denim if he didn't die. But a lot of this is the G20 footage.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That
yeah.
how you got
See, stock footage is your best friend for
Seems
stuff
like
like
it,
that. Yeah. If you go watch the blooper reel, there are bits where like he's really stumbling on his lines.
Yeah.
And actually, Bradley is wearing an old pair of glasses that like were broken and just were terrible. Okay, so this bit was, I like to think of because we had just installed a new shower into our bathroom, but I wanted to use it somehow, so what I did was I had it where it's basically a healing tank, essentially. And yes, guys, don't worry, I was wearing pants.
Oh, you were?
I was wearing pants!
I honestly thought you literally just took a shower and did all this.
No, I would not do that for the life of me. But, I just wore pants. I wore a bathing suit.
Okay, yeah.
Right, just so, like, you know, keep it PG-13.
Right.
So,
no dick slips.
Now this is an actual sunset off my property in the backyard, which I love that. I just sped up the footage.
Yeah.
We get incredible sunsets on
you get some wicked sunsets here.
in our backyard.
Bastard.
And yeah, this is basically to set up because we also installed the hot tub a while back, which is great, especially like for a nice kind of relax after a long day's work, so we had this set up. And what I did was I thought, I want to use this somehow, so I basically have it as like what's called the FTT, or Fictional Dimensional Transporter, that allows me to travel to different worlds, and travel to different worlds in the fictional realm, bring characters back.
Right.
So this hot tub will become a major plot point for future shows that allows me to like bring in fictional characters, go into different worlds, and create a much bigger story that we have planned for the show.
Yeah, a lot of interesting stuff coming.
Yeah, a lot of it is based on Back to the Future, time travel shit, but also, like, I like to think of the FTT as a mix of the Bone Eater's Well from Inuyasha crossed with a hot tub time machine.
Yeah,
basically.
that makes sense.
Yeah, but this is what I loved about it, is that the hot tub came with these amazing lights and everything,
like,
so...
the whole light show and the damn thing.
Yeah, which is cool, because for lighting, for, like, portal travel, it makes for great kind of an effect, right? So, like, that sound effect that the was actually from the Gumby movie, because there's some great sound effects in that. But yeah, I love... Blue is essentially the main color of the machine, but certain worlds, depending on characters, it'll change color. So, obviously in this one, I go to Yokai Academy to basically learn how to control my monster powers. or my Werekong powers, because I am going to be writing a fan fiction story about that.
Of course you are.
I'm gonna be writing a short story for fan fiction,
Yeah,
just
that'd be
kind of
kinda
like novelization. So basically, we're suffering Marvelitis,
Oh, great.
the established continuity. So the reason I chose purple for yokai is because it's the color of Mocha's hair.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So I figured, hey, that'd be cool. I actually love how these came out, these lighting effects, because a lot of it was like the lights at the hot tub, a strobe light, flashlights zooming in and out, and then just added digital effects. And yeah, a lot of this actually came out really well.
Yeah, a lot of nice shots here.
Yeah, so it's just so it's kind of like Terminator rules or like Portal rules, kind of. Where it's
Yeah.
kind of like my version of Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Yeah, except
Big
with,
Jack Films, Rick and Morty.
Oh god, that'd be good. Jack and Bradley.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh Bradley, I fucked up, Bradley. Oh Bradley, we gotta go back. I fucked up the timeline, Bradley. Which, by the way, I just started watching Rick and Morty. It's a hilarious show.
It is pretty cool. I've seen it
Yeah.
a handful of times. It's pretty fun.
Oh, the first time I showed this to Nick Jackson and he saw yokai because he didn't know where it was going, he's like, no.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I love that shot, just to tease people.
How the heck did you guys edit that together?
I just basically took some of the anime. There's only a few cells of animation I just cut out and put in a green backing.
Oh, okay.
It's very simple. It took a while to do.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was... I think overall this was a good season finale.
And it was a way to end off the season for sure.
Yeah, really good way to end it. And, yeah, there's going to be more to come, guys. I'll definitely be doing more commentaries. I want to do Star Wars, I want to do Back to the Future, but I want to wait till we get Josh or something for that.
Yeah, we should get Josh in for the...
So-
for at least for the Star Wars stuff, at minimum.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Until the next video, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Big Jack Films from Studio 95 signing off, and we'll see you later.
See you later, guys. Thanks for watching.